I believe our children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Not my words, of course, but the words of the late, great Whitney Houston. Her song of 1985, The Greatest Love of All. But I wonder if, when she was writing that song, whether she'd looked 30 years into the future. Perhaps the words might have been something different. Maybe, I believe our children are a hashtag. Tweet them well and Snapchat all day. The greatest lol of all. Time is an amazing concept. We can use past for experience and future for insight. And we go on time travel all the time. You may well have momentarily disappeared, even while I was speaking. Yet something else caught your attention, whether that was an emotion, social media, and then you come back to where you are. And on some stages you'd hear, and you're back in the room. Distraction is everywhere, both internal and external. And it's a bit like a dog on a lead. You have the dog on the lead, mostly controlled, unless it sees a cat, of course. And then you let the dog off the lead, maybe at a park or on the beach. And it goes to one smell, and then another, and then another, and then another. Before you know it, it's completely distracted, and you can't even call it back. It doesn't hear you. And that causes you a lack of peace of mind, causes you frustration. It loses your attention, you get stuck in emotion, and before you know it, very unhappy. And that's what often happens in our mind. We get distracted by thoughts, by feelings, by emotions, and all of a sudden we're either flitting between past and future, but not actually enjoying this moment. And let's face it, this moment is all we have. And children are the epitome of living in the moment. But more recently, they've had the pressures and stresses of society, and they live less in the moment. They're more shackled to a past, not really equipped to be able to deal with, or stuck in a futuristic cycle of what-ifs. What if I get the question wrong? What if no one likes me? What if they all laugh at me? Or you may well have experienced in your classes a momentary muteness. You ask a pupil a question, and it's that really awkward silence that becomes deafening. They just stare at you. And it's not because they're being rude or disrespectful, but what's happened is that fear has gripped them. The fear of appearing silly in front of their peers. And FEAR, as you may know, is a good acronym for false emotion appearing real. Their mind becomes turbulent, and the brain fog rolls in, and the answer that they're searching for disappears further and further from their mind. Hence, why you just get them staring blankly at you. And the self-consciousness increases, the silence is deafening, and everyone is unhappy. Or that you may get an emotional explosion that happens sometimes in your classes, where the amount of emotion that young people are not able to deal with comes exploding out in your class. So imagine a class full of pupils that are present, that are engaged, that are not shackled to a past or fearful of a future, but actually are learning, truly listening to what you're saying and really engaging. Imagine what a classroom of pupils would be like if they weren't fearful of other people's opinions. And as my husband often says, opinions are like armpits. Everyone has them, and some stink. So we have to help young people build more resilience and maybe use this motto. So of course, we have to help young people shake it off. We have to help them build more resilience. We can choose to be defeated by other people's opinions or labels or judgments or even our own self-criticisms. Or we can use it as a stepping stone to success, to build more resilience. And of course, in the learning environment for young people, it's so important that they build that resilience in order to structure their learning, in order to engage and be inspired. Mental health for young people is an all-time high, and there was recent research that 1 in 3 pupils in a classroom has a mental health issue. So we have to help them shake off other people's opinions. We have to help them live more in the moment. And also, it's about learning to become more mindful. And like I say, young people by nature are mindful. It's the society and the pressures that make them either fearful of the future or living in the past. So we have to, as professionals, as teachers, and as parents, help young people to deal with that. Mindfulness is a perfect way to do that. And the misconception of mindfulness is that it's blanking the mind and pretending everything's okay. Whereas that's just not real life for us or for young people. And a bit like a traffic jam, emotions and thoughts and feelings can jam up for young people. I call it mind jam. It becomes so much that emotional explosion happens just in your classroom, unsettling the learning environment and also making pupils feel unsettled. So what we have to do is help young people to feel inspired, to feel resilient, feel able to deal with the issues that they come up with, feeling able to actually say, it's okay to make a mistake. And one of the things I teach young people about is actually say, woohoo, it's another chance to get it right, rather than changing perceptions, rather than saying it's all about getting it wrong. It's not. We only learn by getting it wrong. So celebrate the fact that you got it wrong and actually use it as a stepping stone to success, to help you forward rather than hold you back. So to help young people, they are the next generation. We want to help them to make mistakes, to learn from them, to be inspired by them, to build resilience, to learn how to build confidence, to feel empowered. And of course, it's all about thinking differently. Mindfulness, of course, is not about not thinking, it's about thinking differently. And it can be difficult to change habitual thought patterns. Just fold your arms for a second. Oh, that was quick. Now fold them the other way. That feels weird, yeah? It's only until you start repeating it that actually it becomes more natural. It becomes something that you can feel more comfortable with. And as you have in front of you, not only did Albert Einstein discover the theory of relativity, but of course he quoted, "For things to change, thinking must change." So we must help young people to build resilience, to feel empowered, to have confidence to try no matter what, and to really think differently. So I'll leave you with this. Thank you.